That was the video for Tortured Decline. You can find that song on Rose Garden Funeral Party's latest release, an EP called At the Stake, which came out in June. Here to talk to us about the band and what she's up to is Leah Lane from Rose Garden Funeral Party. Hello and welcome to New Music Mondays.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am honored and happy to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you here. So I've been a fan of Rose Garden Funeral Party ever since Martyr came out in November of last year. I guess I've been a casual fan before that because all of my friends were like fans of your band, and every time a song would come on, you know, I'd be like, who is this? And they'd be like, every time they come on, Davey, you ask who it is. This is Rose Garden Funeral Party. I was like, oh man, okay, I gotta start listening to them because I would sit up and notice every time I heard one of your songs. And then Martyr came out, and that made me really sit up and listen because that is such an intense album. It's dense, you know, it feels like every song feels like a party, a really great party, you know, where you look around and there's all kinds of great stuff going on and everybody's having a good time.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you.
Well, my band tends to fill up all the space in the songs as well. And I think that Martyr does that in a really satisfying way, especially if you've got like, you know, good headphones on or speakers or whatever, because there's just layers of guitars, which are really great, and the vocals and everything. I'll give you a chance to talk in a second. I just want to, you know, gush a little bit. Anyway, that was Leah Lane. Thank you for joining us. No. But interestingly, At the Stake, which is your newest release, is pretty different. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to put my finger on exactly why. I feel like there is more space in the songs. Mm-hmm. They feel a little calmer, a little darker, maybe. Mm-hmm. The themes are a little more personal. I'm not sure. I know that it was recorded and mixed by a different person, different people than Martyr. What are your feelings on the differences between the two releases?
So I think there's several differences between the two releases. Martyr came reeling out of a breakup with someone I thought I was going to be with forever, and it was a really abusive, bad relationship, and it was my first real relationship. So Martyr was me writing to him and writing all of the things that I knew I wasn't going to get a chance to say to him, but that you know, I needed to get out of my system. So that's why all the songs are dedicated to someone. You know, I'm singing at you rather than singing to myself. At the Stake is a lot more personal. It's a lot more in the eye. You know, I'm starting to feel alone again. Things like that. Where, you know, like I said, Martyr is more to the other person. I think that Martyr also, that was the first record that I ever played lead guitar on the entirety of the record. That was the first record that I wrote the entirety of the guitar work for, like from start to finish, like as far as effects and pedals and all of that.
You wrote the song,
because right? No, that record, that whole record.
Yeah.
And then so I was learning to be a lead guitar player because when we recorded Martyr, it was pretty fresh after that guy that I wrote the record about broke up, and he was the original guitarist for the band.
Okay.
So that, you know, I was learning to be a guitar player, and that on At the Stake, I'm a much better guitar player. I'm a guitar player that's been touring for 2 years and really knows their instrument and you know, knows how to build pedals and fix, like, you know, my guitar on my own, and like I delved into it as deep as I could go, and so you're hearing an actual guitar player rather than someone who just plays an acoustic in her bedroom. And I think Martyr is really I was into one band when I was listening to Martyr, and I was really determined to sound exactly like this one band. White Lies.
Oh, I love White Lies. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And I was like, I want to sound exactly like them. And luckily I don't know how, because it ended up sounding like Rose Garden Funeral Party, which I'm much more happy with that end product. But and with At the Stake, it was much more like I'm just writing because now I know how to I know how to write. I know how to play this. I know how to do this. And it felt more from the heart. The everything about At the Stake, I feel, is a step up from Martyr, even on the level of like, I feel like I'm more mature as a person and more mature as a lyricist, and that comes through in the lyrics. I feel like the production work is cleaner. I feel like it was recorded quick and efficiently, and then when we got the mixes back, we didn't have to play with it for a million years. Like it was a couple of back and forths, and then we were good to go. And you know, our record label just like came up so quickly to be like, hey, we'll take the record on. We're on Young and Cold Records out of Germany. And they took the record on, and like that's been a really smooth release. And it all happened fast and easy and quick. And with Martyr, it was this hellish 2-year endeavor to get that record out. Like with, you know, we had problems with record labels, we had problems with producers. That record has been re-recorded like 3 times.
Wow.
Like, I mean, it was hell. And all the while we're touring it and everyone's like, where's the record? Like, when you release the record, like, we don't know.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, they couldn't be more different records, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I remember when I did Martyr, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do anything better ever. And then now that's how I feel about At the Stake. So I hope it keeps going that way.
Yeah, yeah.
That if like I hit a wall and I'm like, I can't write.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about writing and recording. I know that for your band and my band as well, so I totally get this. It kind of comes in fits and starts, you know. Like it was, well, for a number of reasons, logistical reasons, practical reasons, and maybe, I don't know, possibly songwriting reasons. Also, it took 2 years to get Martyr out, but then it only took like 6 months to get your EP At the Stake out.
Right.
What's going on with songwriting right now? Are you
Well,
working on anything?
so yes, absolutely. Martyr was, like I said, written like out of a breakup. So I was obviously like heavily inspired because even when I first started writing songs and I'd never been in a relationship, so I was like 10, there are always like these like unrequited love songs, like sad, forlorn things. And like, so Martyr was kind of perfect. Like it was like a perfect storm. It was incredibly painful, but it all was written really fast. And then we recorded it pretty much like 6 months after. And then, like I said, it was recorded 2 times after that. But like it had to be redone and redone because we either had different members or like a terribly rude producer guy that told us it was trash and we had to change everything. And then we were like, no, we're not going to change anything. So we went back and didn't change anything. Like, so all the time I was working on Martyr, I was severely dedicated to Martyr and everything that Martyr was and making that record perfect. So I didn't really write songs for Rose Garden during those 2 years. And then when Martyr, I wrote songs, but it wasn't with the same fervor and purpose. It was more like, I'm just writing these for me, and maybe they'll be like on a solo album because they're piano ballads, which we're just not a piano ballad band. We could, but we don't want to. Anyway, but like I was so focused on that, and so when that record came out in November of last year, I kind of felt liberty to start writing again. And we were on 2 tours between the time that At the Stake came out and Martyr was released. So we went one on the East Coast with Lorelei K, and then one on the West Coast with Lorelei K. And during those 2 tours is when I wrote At the Stake. And a little bit into quarantine. Ghost of You was written in quarantine. And because I thought the world was ending, so I was like, I've got to write my end of the world song.
Well, it still might.
Yeah, it might. But I thought it was gonna blow up.
Yeah.
So I got kind of freaked out there for a little bit. Still am terrified. My bandmates make fun of me for that. They're like, you got your tinfoil hat on, Leah?
No, I think you've got a good reason to be worried. I mean, Texas's numbers are still going up, right? As far as like hospitalizations and deaths and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry to hear that. That's a real bummer. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the pandemic, but also I think that it's an important time in our history. And I think it's important for us to hear from our favorite bands and how they're doing with everything and how it's affecting them and stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's cool that you do this for that reason.
Yeah, yeah.
I just realized I didn't answer your question. But writing is going really well.
Good.
We're working on, we just realized that I've written enough songs since At the Stake to do like a 10-song record. And so we're in the middle of demoing those songs out roughly. Me and my brother are doing that because he knows how to work the computer. I don't do any of that. I don't do any of the recording. All my songs are written on my acoustic, and like then I come in and I'm like, Will, what key is it in?
Mm-hmm.
So Will, and then I've been like working on those, and once those are kind of done, I'll bring them to the band, and then they'll become a million times better because the band is the band. And for those who don't know, Will is my bass player and my brother. So,
yeah. I don't want
but yeah, so writing's going well. Writing's going great, and we should have a new record out by spring of 2021.
Good. That's great.
Thanks.
That's really exciting. So
Yeah.
How
It wasn't intentional for us to drag our feet so long with Martyr. It was just a series of unfortunate events, and that's why we released At the Stake so fast after. I was like, just screw it, let's do it right now, because I wanted to kind of prove people wrong who were like, so why does Rose Garden take 2 years between releases? Like, you know, and be like, we don't, look, we can do it.
Yeah. Oh, I wish my band had that excuse. We have no excuse. So let's talk about your brother. What's the age difference between the two of you?
We are a year and 6 days apart.
And did the two of you start learning how to play music around the same time?
Yeah, like the exact same time. Yeah, well, I think when I was 11 and he was 10 or maybe younger. I'm bad at that. But young, really young.
Mm-hmm. And did you have a notion then, or did he, that you were gonna grow up and be musicians, or was it kind of, yeah?
Oh yeah. I think I knew. I think he knew too that was all we were put here to do. Like I came out singing is what my parents say. They really claim that I was singing Beatles lyrics before I could talk, and I don't believe them. But like it was always very like ingrained in Will and I that we wanted to be musicians. And then we started playing pretty young. I guess it was earlier than a decade old. I guess it must have been because my parents put us in this after school program that was a lot like that movie like School of Rock, where you have all these kids and they start a band. Mm-hmm. And then but it was like the mom and pop version of that other franchise, School of Rock. It was like this little place called Zound Sounds, and it was run by and owned by, and all the teachers were local musicians. And so they would teach you how to play guitar or bass or piano or sing. And then they once you got kind of good enough, they'd put you in a band with other kids your age. So we were and then you'd learn covers and stuff. And so from babies, Will and I were playing music together. Mm-hmm. And then we stopped playing together when we became teenagers. And then we went back to playing together when we got more mature.
Sure, yeah. That's pretty typical, I think, brother-sister relationship dynamic.
Yeah. I told him, I tell everyone I took 2 years off from him during high school. Yeah. But I mean, he's been my best friend my whole life. And we really are best friends. He doesn't even introduce me as a sister half the time. He's like, this is my best friend, Leah. And I'm like, I'm also his blood. And no one assumes that we're siblings. There are people who are like, oh, I thought Will was your boyfriend. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I looked
Not
at
for any
pictures
other
of the band.
reason other than like we're with each other all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, when I look at pictures of the band, I can't figure out, like, I'm not sure how much you guys look alike because I can't really tell which one is your brother. But
Oh, we all kind of do look alike because we're all small, like we're all under 5'8", and we're all
brown hair.
like brown hair and like dark eyes. But the one, not the one with the shag layered haircut, but the one with like the hair, that's my brother.
Got it. Got it. Did the two of you have kind of music idols that you looked up to? Like I found some notes that I had written when I was like 8 years old. I think that's when I started taking guitar lessons. Not that that shows I'm a horrible guitarist, but
I'm a terrible guitar player too.
when I started taking guitar lessons, I wrote a note to myself that I wanted to be like John Denver when I grew up.
Oh, that's so
Yeah. I
cute.
still love John Denver, I'll be honest with you. But
That's so, I love him too. That's so cute. I love Ricky Nelson. That was my childhood everything. But also, like, I mean, so Will and I together, like, I'm thinking about the bands that we shared because we shared a lot at the same time. Because like I was more into like trying to find new music and then I bring it home to Will. And so like, I mean, obviously as kids, we loved the Beatles and Elton John and the Pretenders and Fleetwood Mac and stuff that like our parents would play. It was all good, you know, stuff. Except for like the occasional like Steve Miller band and stuff like that. Or like, I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan. So that stuff, no. But there was a lot of good stuff. So that we listened to that for a while, and then we got a little bit older and you know, just started branching out into the classics. So like Will and I obviously shared like Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and like Nirvana, you know, the bands you listen to when you're like 8. And then when we got into like the 6th grade, or when I got into the 6th grade is when I started meeting new people that like I would later go on to form bands with, but that were actually like into like really cool indie music that was current. So I got introduced to Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, and that became my favorite band for like 5 years, and also my brothers.
mm,
To the point where like my brother's got like a Black Rebel Motorcycle Club like ribcage tattoo. Like the BRMC runs deep in Will and I's veins. Like I don't think there's a Black Rebel Motorcycle Club song that I don't know all the lyrics to if it played.
that's also the most painful place to get a tattoo, so that's real dedication.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, I want it to hurt. I want to like really get it. And his tattoo is such a deep track too. It's like it's that, you know, they have all their rock and roll albums, and then they released like a record called Howl that's like mostly acoustic songs, you know, and it's off of not Howl, but like then they released like the cuts of Howl that like didn't make it on the record, and it's 2 parts. It's from like side 4 of that. Like real dedication.
Wow. So the two of you, I guess, decided to form a band at some point.
Well, no, unfortunately. It was me and the original guitar player that was my boyfriend, and I was playing in a psychedelic band at the time, but I wasn't really, oh, sorry. But am I back? Yeah, there we go. I wasn't super into it anymore. I didn't listen to that music. I listened to a lot of psychedelic music. Obviously, I was into BRMC, so like I was also into like BJM and the Warlocks and the Dandy Warhols, and then there's like, you know, the shoegaze blend of that where you get into like Slowdive and Ride and MBV, and then you go down the shoegaze, you know, dive where like that's all you listen to for what seems like 200 years. Like, and so like I definitely like was, you know, coming out of that and listening to a lot of what all is in my wall right here. And like so my boyfriend at the time was like, I want to start a band with you. And I was like, okay. But I was really focused on my other band, so I kind of kept it like on the back burner. And then when that other band broke up is when we kicked it into high gear with Rose Garden. But Will is actually the only original member of Rose Garden left besides me. So like, and the only time that Will was out of the band was when he said that he needed to focus on his senior year of high school. And so he like quit, and we spent 3 months trying to find another bass player to replace him, and we couldn't find one. And so we like came like, not like we couldn't find a bassist, but like none of them were what we got from Will.
Sure.
And we like came back to him. We're like, please join the band again. He was like, okay. And he hasn't quit again since. So I'm very lucky. You hang on to him.
About what year was this?
Oh goodness. So we say that Rose Garden started in January of 2018, because that is when the guy, my ex, left.
Sure.
And that guy, and like, I don't want to give too much information. That guy was really bad.
I'm getting that picture, yeah.
Yes. Like, just couldn't be worse. So like he so we don't even consider when he was in the band that like he was in the band then. And then plus all of our releases have come up prior, but that was in like 2017, maybe 2016.
Okay, cool. And you've got a side project or two. I'm interested in hearing about Deep Red.
Yes, Deep Red's really amazing. It came about because I have okay, let's see. How do we organize my thoughts? All right, Deep Red. So one day I was going through Instagram and I came across the Instagram story of this guy I knew who played in another local band called Duel. His name is Scott White. And he posted this thing on his story, like, does anybody ever want to make like real shoegaze again? Like not mock shoegaze, but like real innovative shoegaze. Yeah. And I was like, yes, like I care about it and I want to make it because I was obsessed with that forever. And so like, that's why, I don't know if you've seen like pictures of my rig, but like I have a really big pedal board. And like I haven't always gone stereo now. But I go stereo now through a Marshall and a JC. And like, I play Jazz Masters because of shoegaze. Like, I love it. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, I want to do it. And then it was like this thing that was like, do you like Swerve Driver? Do you like Secret Shine? Do you like Balter Space? Like, do you like Pale Saints? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just like went back and forth. Do you like Lilies? Do you like, and like, we got like, or Cabin Wheel or whatever, like the whole thing. I'm like, my brain keeps wanting me to mention other bands.
I want to hear them. I want to hear them.
But so like we were like, yes, yeah, like I love all these bands. And he was like, well, let's start a band. And so we got together and I showed him like a song that I had written that was like shoegazy. And he took it and within like a day sent me a full demo back because he's also good with the robots. And so like he sent me a whole entire like song of my little acoustic demo, and I cried in my car because it was my favorite shoegaze song I'd ever heard. I was like, I love it. Like the way that he composes and the way that he writes, he's so heavy because he comes from a metal background. So it's like, but he's also like got a lot of like restraint and wants to keep it actual shoegaze, which I really, really like because I don't come from a metal background at all. And so like it was a perfect combination. And you know, we write like curled up in chairs in my apartment, and like we record vocals just like sitting on the couch like this, and it's great. It's amazing. He's Scott White, the guy in that band, is not only like one of the greatest musicians I've ever known, but he's one of the greatest people too. It's been amazing.
Oh, that's so lucky you get to play this kind of music that you have a deep love for with a really good band partner. That's really awesome. And
I get to do that in Rose Garden and Deep Red. Like in Rose Garden, I get to play goth and with like my best friends, and that's like my favorite. And then like in Deep Red, I get to play shoegaze, which is my other favorite, with like this amazing, sentimental, sweet, wonderful friend. And then I have a punk band, like I'm in a street punk band called called High Life, the Champagne of Bands, instead of the Champagne of Beers. And that's like, I get to be Like, I get to be a punk. Like, I get to charge my hair and like wear my chain belt and sing about cigarettes and scream, and like I play bass, and it's a blast. And so like I'm so fortunate because I actually do get to play like my three favorite genres of music. And in High Life, the Champagne of Bands, like my bandmates in that are my brother, like Will plays lead guitar, and our photographer, Vicious Velma, which I don't know if you've seen her photography, but you should definitely check it out. She's incredible. And she's also my best friend. So, and she's in it. And then the drummer is a guy from a band that we've toured with several times called Upsetting. So it's like, it's perfect. I'm so blessed. I'm so freaking blessed, Davey.
Didn't Vicious Velma do the artwork for one of your albums? Was it Martyr?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Well, so
photography and the artwork for that album is beautiful.
So the album artwork for Martyr was done by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in total. So we had 2 girls that designed the headdress and built the headdress. We had 1 girl that conceptualized my makeup, and Vera did all of the editing. So Vera did the font. That's like a custom font that says Rose Garden, and then the Martyrs custom font. And then she also, I don't know if anybody ever notices it, but there's a spear going through my chest on the album artwork, and she edited in that spear.
Okay.
And then our videographer, who does all of the, like every single one of our music videos, took the actual image. Mm-hmm. So it was a huge project.
So thank you.
I wanted to involve as many people in that as possible.
Yeah.
And before you tell me to leave, I'm gonna ask you to let me tell you guys about one more thing. Were you trying to wrap it up on me?
No, I was just gonna make a little, just continue going down a rabbit hole. I just wanted to thank you for being, I think, the first person since maybe 1998 that's referenced Bealter Space to me.
Oh,
I'm a big Bealter Space fan.
Yeah.
Loudest show I've ever been to.
I bet. One time my brother came to me when I was like in the height of my shoegaze phase, and he was like, hey, I want something like really noisy. And I just like slid it across the table. I was like, here you go. That's sick. Have you seen MBV?
No, I haven't. And I think that would probably be louder, but I'm not the complaint that I always hear is that they're loud to the point that you just can't even recognize what song is playing and can't.
Yeah, I saw them in LA and it was totally unenjoyable.
It's too bad. They're a great band.
I agree completely. It really is just weird. And there's no stage presence with a band like that, so like you're really just going to like vibrate.
Yeah.
Like, you only hear certain frequencies. So like the only reason it's when you sleep is because you hear like you're like, I guess that's it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. I left before, they do their like Holocaust bit where like they like basically turn everything on at once, and it just gets louder and louder and louder and louder and louder until like your clothes are literally shaking on your body. Right. I left before that. I was like, I've seen it.
And another thing, and we do have to wrap it up in a few minutes, but we've got.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm a talker.
It's a great conversation. I just keep wanting to go down these rabbit holes right there with you. Every time you come to the Bay Area, they play at these really crappy venues that have terrible sound systems. So that's another reason why I haven't been to see them. I'm like, why would I want to?
It's like the most hi-fi band of all time.
I know. Why would I want to go see the loudest band in the world at this like venue that I know is terrible, that never even has shows? That's how terrible it doesn't make sense. But so let's talk about Dylan for a second. Your drummer, Dylan Stamus.
Yes.
Okay, good. When did he join the band? He's great.
Yeah, he's amazing. He joined 2 years ago, I believe. I think we just had his 2-year anniversary, because 2 years ago today, like a week ago, I became friends with him on Facebook, and he joined the band really soon thereafter when I first met him. I was working at, I'll say this really fast. I was working at Sam Ash in Dallas, obviously, and I was restringing a guitar, and he walked in, and I looked at him, and I thought, that guy looks cool. I've got to come up with something to say so that I can because I want to be the one to help him, because I like his shoes. Because he was wearing like Docs and black skinny jeans, you know, he has like big hair and a black sweater, black shirt. And he was walking by me, and I was like, hey man, I like your shoes. And he like spun on his heels and like walked back. And he was like, thank you. And we get to talking. He like wants a fuzz pedal. I'm like, what do you want your fuzz pedal sound like? He's like, I want like a lo-fi fuzz, but I want it to be cheap. So I'm like, okay, we'll try the Satisfaction by EHX, because it's super cheap and it does kind of what you're talking about. And so like we went over to the guitarist to like try it out. And I was like, well, here you go, bud. Like, you're all plugged up. Like, here's the guitar, here's the amp, like, here's the pedal. There you go. So you turn it on, click, click. And he was like, oh no, like, can you show me like what it sounds like? And I'm like, why? And he's like, because I don't actually play guitar. And I'm like, then why are you buying this pedal? And he was like, because I'm going to use it on my drums. And I was like, you're a drummer that uses pedals? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, that's so cool. He's like, yeah, I just like play with like drum machines and synths and then like add my own beats. And that's like exactly what I was looking for in the drummer for Rose Garden. Like I wanted someone exactly like that. And I was like, do you want to join a band?
Yeah.
Straight up. And then like he ended up buying the pedal, and I was checking him out, and I was getting his information, and I was like, hey, like I was getting his Facebook and stuff, because like I had said the band thing, and I was like, and just so you know that like we're like really trying, so like don't join and like half-ass it.
Yeah.
And he got in his car, and he tells me that like he immediately put on the music, and he was like, if she starts screaming, I'm out. Like, and he like heard the music and like heard like, because it was the chopping block, because that was all it was out of time. So it's very like Smithsy and Curie, and so like he loved it. And he messaged me on Facebook. It was like, or no, I think I messaged him because I forgot to give him his box for his pedal. And so I was like, hey, I forgot to give you your box. Do you want me to just like meet you somewhere and bring it to you? He's like, no, we should get together and like talk about the band. So we did. Like he was pretty much in the band directly after that.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. And he's one of my favorite people in the whole world. One of my closest friends.
Well, one of my biggest regrets from the past year is missing your show when you came to play. And I believe you played at the Golden Bull, which is literally like 4 blocks that way.
Oh, I know where you are. I miss it. I dated a guy from Oakland, and I used to go to Oakland all the time, and now I don't, and I miss it.
Yeah, Oakland's great. I can't remember what I was doing that night, but all my friends were there, and they loved it, and I wanted to be there, and I just can't remember why I wasn't there. But hopefully we can get you back when everything kind of gets back to normal.
I would come tomorrow if there was a place for me to play.
Yeah.
Tyler and Annie, my friends in your area that you also know, for those that are watching this, like they texted me when Eli's opened back up, and they're like, we're going to Eli's tonight. And I was like, I'm getting on an airplane.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's going to keep going, but we're trying to do little safe, socially distanced things. Hi, Kat, here and there. Okay, we need to wrap it up, but
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry, please. This has been a super, super fun conversation. Tell us real quickly about Obituary. What is that?
So Obituary will continue, for those who were wondering, but I'll tell you what it is.
It's like
so
a party that you have at your house or something?
Yeah, so a year ago, and a little bit of change, Will, Dylan, and I all moved into a house together with the intention of living in the house for 1 year, and then, sorry, it's cat ear. Living in the house for 1 year and then moving to Los Angeles. We were all set to do that. We moved into the house, and one of the whole reasons we wanted to get the house was we wanted to do a goth night, like a goth event night out of the house. So we did once a month, and it was called Obituary, and we had vendors and DJs and live bands, and it was basically like the most extravagant like house show you could imagine, because we would like decorate and fill the house with fog, and we like Dylan's girlfriend, who lived with us at the time, would like cook food for everyone, and you know, like there was like because our house was like kind of small and in a neighborhood, we didn't want to get noise complaints and get evicted, so we would do like a it was an RSVP only thing, and then our invitations were sent out privately, and then we had like a bouncer that would be at the door. Like if you didn't have an invitation, he would be like, sorry, like it's, we have a capacity that we must adhere to. And so like, and then all our friends had like little rose pins. It was like, it was really cute, like, and really fun. And that's why how we were gonna say goodbye to Dallas before moving to Los Angeles. Because we've been trying to move to Los Angeles since we started the like band in 2018. And so yeah, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And like it literally destroyed everything. Like we all stopped making as much money. We had to stop throwing the events. We couldn't afford the house anymore, so we all kind of moved out to separate places. I'm with my brother, Dylan's with his girlfriend. I am working on getting obituaries solidified at a venue, and then we're going to continue at a venue, but it'll never be the same, like, because it'll never be the house and whatever.
Sure. What a great memory.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome that you guys did.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. And since we're like wrapping it up, let me see how much battery I have before I do this. Okay, cool, sweet. I got you. I'll show. This is actually cool.
Yeah. Also, you're reminding me of a party that I went to at our friend Greg's house from a band called Untamed Creatures, where Manifesto.
Oh, yeah? Oh, cool.
Yeah, they played at a little house party up here, pretty close by, at a little basement for like 15 people or something about a year ago.
Oh, that's sick.
Or 2 years ago.
So check this out. So this is guests
cool.
of the Rose Garden Funeral Home, and I had this made before we had any parties. And so like at every party, everyone who came basically signed it like a yearbook. So like this is just full of like notes from friends and like people who came, and yeah.
That's amazing.
Like, I'm a real like sentimental softie, so that, yeah.
I couldn't tell by your yeah, especially the next song that we're gonna hear.
Oh yeah.
I may have wept a little bit to this next song. I'll be honest.
Thank you. I cried to it too. So you're not alone.
Yeah. So we're gonna watch the acoustic version of "Ghost of You." The full band version can be found on At the Stake EP. The guest vocalist is your partner, right?
No. He's my partner's brother.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, your partner is Alex, and his name is Aaron.
Yes, yeah. Okay. A lot of people get it confused. Don't worry.
Okay. So Aaron Morales is your guest vocalist on this track, and the acoustic version, although it wasn't included on the EP, can still be found on your Bandcamp page. Also on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube too.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us here on New Music Mondays.
Thank you so much for having me, Davey. This is great.
It was a pleasure, and really excited for your new material. I'm sorry, you said that you thought it would be out in like spring of next year. Is that right? Okay, cool. That's great. Cool. Well, let's stay in touch and talk again when that comes out.
Absolutely. And when shows come back, let's play shows together.
Yeah. We've got to have you all out here, and I'd love to come to the new.
I think that'd be a great tour.
Oh yeah. Well, we need something to tour on, so we'll get on that.
Record your record. Let's go on tour. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds like a lot of fun. Great. All right.
Cool.
Leah Lane, thank you so much for joining us.
Davey Bones, thank you for having me.
All right. This is the acoustic version of The Ghost of You with Leah Lane from Rose Garden Funeral Party, and you're watching New Music Mondays.
Hi everyone, hope you liked that video. If so, please like and subscribe to receive notifications when we upload more content. New Music Mondays is a live stream show every Monday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/DavyBonesOakland. It features myself and a weekly guest DJ spinning new releases in the world of dark music, post-punk, goth, dark wave, as well as interviews with the people that make the music happen. So it's a lot of fun. Make sure to join us live. Again, it's every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Or actually about 9:30 Pacific time. The audio will always be uploaded the next day to my Mixcloud page, mixcloud.com/DavyBonesOakland. And thanks for watching the video on YouTube. The interviews will all be uploaded to the YouTube channel as well as an occasional kind of behind the scenes video as well. Alright, thanks again.